morning.
Morning. Morning.
Good laugh. We have it unmuted for role play, so it's sometimes people forget. Okay, a few announcements. I've gotten like 3 or 4 business plans already. So today is our workshop at 11 o'clock with George. We're going over goal settings, business plan, schedules, and accountability. So who has their business plan ready? Okay, if you guys want to be in the drawing, make sure that we have a copy of it or you're present here so we can put your name in the drawing. Okay, right at 11 o'clock. And then compliance call is on Friday at 11 a.m. Do you know what you're covering? Or some people were asking that if you're going to go over broker load again. I'm like, I don't think so.
No, but it is recorded, so if you want to watch the recording, you can on that one, or you can call me if you have specific questions about it.
Okay, I'll let them know. And then you guys don't forget the summit is on the 11th, so you want to put that in your calendar. We are reading the book, you guys. Every Monday we are having call blitz. Someone asked me about it. We had 5 people that said yes, and no one showed up yesterday. So call blitz is happening every Monday from 4 to 6 p.m. with Inspiro in the room. So it's really helpful. It's good to sometimes change up your leads and follow-ups and call in the evening. So it's a lot of fun to come. Make sure that you're signing up for that. We're going over the book, The Greatest Salesman still. Don't forget that as well. That's tomorrow morning. Is there any other questions? How about a gratitude and a win? I know everyone was processing.
Well, I had another client calling me yesterday that's ready to buy, so
oh, good for you. Good for you. It's a great start to hear, right? Congratulations. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Well, I'm grateful that all of you are here. That's great. That's a good gratitude for me.
Yesterday I was knocking, it was snowing, and some guy started throwing my face. No one let me cry. I'm just kidding. No, but after, yeah. But after a little, push through that, I actually ran into somebody I talked to before and set an appointment upstairs. So
good job. That's awesome. I know he was telling me that yesterday, and I remember the times where I used to purposely hang up on people because I used to see John walking over and about to plug into me. So we laughed about that. But that was in 2010. You get over it, you get thicker skin, so it's really good. It's really funny. I throw myself under the bus on that all the time. Like, I know it's scary to have people listen to your prospect or door dog. I used to hang up on people when John used to walk by. They were being mean. I hung up John. He's like, that's okay, Ruby. It's like, I'm so nice. Why aren't they nice to me? It's great, but good job. Door knocking is a great way to get in touch with more and more people. But that's it. George, all you. Hey.
Excellent. Yeah, so who's going to be here this morning at 11? All right, we're going to have fun. Do we have an RSVP at all on that, by the way? Just curious. The reason I say that is just, aren't we like doing lunch is what I heard or something like
Yes,
that?
we are doing.
All right.
and I heard dessert too.
Dessert, lunch, life-changing. If the speaker's not good, the food will be, right? I hate to erase this because John wrote up here so nicely. I didn't realize someone with a southpaw could actually write that good, but I'm erasing it since he's not here. So we can get away with it. I felt guilty yesterday thinking, wow, I mean, you have really thought that thing through. So reminds me of the good old days, Amy, of good old ghetto Everest, writing all those good principles up there.
I know quite a few people are going to be there because Tyler came to find me yesterday. He's like, Ruby, what's your email address? He's like, can you give me the business plan? And they had it filled out before the evening was up. So
Tyler Higgins.
Tyler Higgins.
and
Good.
it's on Zoom
And
too, right?
Castleberry.
Yeah.
Yes, we'd like everyone to be here in person, but yeah, on Zoom
Yeah.
as well. Why not?
Okay, all right. So just a couple of things I want to talk about. Want to just challenge you on something. And I want to challenge you on your language. And what I mean by that is not how good you are at swearing. I have got that down. I just want you to know I'm a master swearer. All right. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 2 things. I'm talking about what you say internally and what you say externally. And one of the things that I get really, really conscious of is when I'm coaching people and I listen to their internal and external dialogue. And what I mean by that is really, this is what internally you're saying, right? And versus what are you saying outside yourself? Now, a lot of people will play off this and they'll joke and they'll kid and they'll say either something even a little bit sarcastic externally, or they'll joke about themselves and they'll maybe make a little fun of themselves. And I'm not saying that's not ever okay. But what I really want is this. I want you to become aware. Other words, you could write up there if you wanted to write, I want you to become aware, I want you to become conscious, and I want you to become really focused today for just today. And that is what are you saying internally and externally? Because what I am certain of is that the things that I say inside myself or outside of myself, those are the things that begin to happen. And the challenge is that we will have what I call a destination that we want. And what we are wired to do is to find out all the ways it can't be done. And when you start weaving energy and emotion around the reasons why something can't happen, a destination that you have. So I know a lot of us will say, I want this. And then we will start going down the pathway internally and even externally as to why it can't happen. And you say, come on, am I really doing that? I don't know, maybe you're not. But I would ask you to become aware, to be awake, to be conscious, to pay attention, and just ask yourself, like, what am I really saying? Am I using words that empower me or literally disempower me? Am I using words and language that elevates me or literally takes me down? And you find people in these arenas where there are people right now I'm watching who are fighting. There are people who are paralyzed. There are people who are running. And the thing that is interesting about you, kudos to everyone who's online, or good friends, everybody's online, and of course, all you guys here in the room, but just really ask yourself, like, how are you responding with the language that you use? Now, there's so many different angles of this, but I just want to point out just a couple of things. Anything that's going to limit you. I've gone to, of course, you know, those of you who've gone to Tony Robbins, you hear him talk about this, you hear others talk about this, but I've narrowed it down. It's really simple. I've realized that anything I'm saying that I limit myself with my language, internally or externally, things I'm speaking out loud or things that I'm saying internally where only I can hear it, is that they always start off with words like this. I can't. I won't. I'll never. I hate. I don't like. It's not me. And all of a sudden, you start paying attention really closely to the words that you say, and any place in your life where you have a limitation, and the limitations of, let's just write these up here, in regards to your health, in regards to the relationships in your life, and in regards to your money or your business. I can promise you that in some relationship here, that you are saying the words, I can't, I hate, I'll never. Oh, I hate prospecting. Oh, I can't make it today. I can't knock doors today. I've got all these other things I have to do. Or we start thinking about things like I have to. We don't have something, I have to. You have to what? Like everything about these things are the things that are limiting you. And if you start using language that's limiting you, well, then it goes down to this whole thing. And I know I'm all over it. That's why I erased it, because I knew it was going to be a ton of writing. But I just want to point out here that what you believe, now here's the important part about beliefs. You get to choose what you believe. People change their religions, they change their politics, they change their policies, they change, and people will absolutely brutalize people if they've changed their mind. But you can change your mind. Now, the challenge is that if you're a revolving door of changing your mind, well, then you see the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs of humanity, and you see them with no constitution. They have no strength because they're all over the place, because they're always changing their mind, or in so many words, changing their beliefs. So get clear on what you believe, right? And a belief is just a belief. Yes, you can change your beliefs. You know, I hope so. Like, I mean, I've had a lot of people over the last several months go, you've changed. Well, I hope so. I hope I have a little bit. And some people, I don't like it. Okay. I'm okay with that too. I like it. A number of times I've had to sit at my own desk and tell people, Adam, I hope you know I'm happy with who I am. But for some reason they aren't. But I am. And in the end of it, we'll get into this in a second. Actually, I've already said it. I use the words I am, which is why those affirmations say I am or I, because everything that you really want in your life is about living in the present moment. But just go back over here. I'm going to get ahead of myself. But beliefs. What do you believe? But the thing that people think about to say is they think that the beliefs are the thoughts. No, the belief is a declaration of something you believe. I believe I will earn blank dollars. I believe prospecting works. I believe that I can win in this business. I believe I am successful. That's a belief. From the belief comes this. What you think about, the thoughts that you wrap around your belief. And I've said this a lot, like some of us have gotten this mindset of is real estate really going to even be sold in today's market? So how about just a simple belief? I believe real estate's going to be sold. If you believe that, now what are your thoughts around it? Good or bad? Good? Of course they're good. Because you believe that real estate's sold. If you believe prospecting works, what do you think your beliefs? What's going to be your language as you speak externally and internally about prospecting? If you believe it works, what are you going to say to yourself? You're going to say things that support this belief. That's what you're going to say outwardly and inwardly. So get really conscious. Like even if you just took out your journal and said, what do I believe? And you started writing, I believe, ... What do you believe? What do you believe about health? What do you believe about your relationships? What do you believe about this business? What do you believe about money? Because if you believe and your belief is solid, well, then your thoughts will be solid. And your thoughts always lead you to your emotions. Always. What you believe, what you think, leads you to your emotions. Then after you go to your emotions and you feel something, well, then the question is how are you going to act? Now, this isn't a new concept for a lot of you, but part of it is, right, Socrates said, learning is remembering. So if you come back all the way going, whoa, what is it that I believe? And if I'm challenged in forgetting my beliefs, then the bigger question is, well, then what is my language like? What am I saying out there? What am I doing out there in relationship to internally and externally? What words am I using? How am I building myself up? How am I elevating myself? How am I tearing myself down based on the beliefs? And so the thing that I've realized over the years is there has to be a moment where this is what I've said. Stop. And I mean that like a true blue light. Hey, hold on a second. This is the best artwork you're ever going to see from me. Right there. Mike, is that good? Perfect. It's a stop sign if you weren't clear. All right, just checking. Right? People have asked me how come you think? Because what happens is this. I have a belief. And maybe my belief gets a little persuaded or I forget what I believe. And all of a sudden my language and my thoughts and my emotions and all it is a lot of people will let that turn into a day, a week, a month, a quarter, a year, and unfortunately a lifetime of language internally and externally that is limiting them every single day. And the only thing I can just say to you is that I try to catch that sooner than most. And I'm not in competition with you about it. I just won't let this thing go all the way down. So I say, stop. And I literally will say, stop. And then I will say, I do not believe that. This is what happens inside my head and outside in my car, or I'm walking somewhere and stop. I don't believe that. I'm going to bring some emotion to the table of what I really believe. And then I will then declare, I believe. Now, what do you believe? Do you believe you're extraordinary? Do you believe you're amazing? Do you believe you're unstoppable? Do you believe that you love prospecting? Do you believe that you'll set an appointment today? Do you believe that you'll sell a home tomorrow? Today, now. And all of a sudden you start to realize that so much of what you get is a reflection of the language and the emotions that you have. And when you start to recognize it, all of a sudden you start to realize, hold on a second here. Who's in control? The market, the people outside of me, or me? Because it has so much to do with what you choose to believe. But if you aren't aware and conscious of your beliefs, if you aren't aware of wait a second here, what am I really saying to myself? Well, then I can really mess this thing up and I can get stuck and paralyzed. And I run from my challenges because, well, I start again saying, I'll never figure this out, or I hate this, or I don't like it, or gosh, I won't do that. I won't knock doors. Why? Where do the limitations come from? Different sources of business that you'll go with or not go after? When did you make a decision that you only can work with buyers versus sellers? Early on in my career, I felt like I could only work with for sale by owners because I was so afraid of an expired. And I would say things out. I'm like, I hate working with expireds. And then I'd met people who said, I love working with expireds. And then they would say about for sale by owners, I hate for sale by owners. I'm like, This is really where I started to kind of come to the conclusion that my own reality is the reality that I shape and I share and I declare. It's not what other people think my reality is. It's what I believe it is. And so I started to realize, wait a second here. I got to create some type of battle plan here. And so I started coming up with things that started off this way. I am. I do. Even on a weaker scale, but better than I won't. I will. Or just the simple words, I. There is so much work that I could share with you and spend an entire probably 30 or 45 minutes just on the I am. Or that is sacred script right there. You can see that in the good book. When Moses was asking, hey, what are you supposed to call me? What am I supposed to call you? And what does he say? I am. In so many words. That's where you get the Wayne Dyers and others who will say, which is crazy. Somebody says, what do you mean? You mean you are a God? Well, Wayne Dyer will talk so much depth to this I am. There's books that are all about this I am, not just the fact that it's God, but that if you're stating I am, that means you are in a connection and a reality of God. Pretty powerful. I was just listening to that again today. And Wayne Dyer is like so adamant. He jokes, but he goes, well, no, I don't expect you to walk down the hallway and go, hey, Jason, just so you know, I am a God. Right? I mean, but his whole argument is that if you're connected to your source and your creator and you're using the words I am, well, there's some power behind I am versus I can't. And he makes fun of it. Well, Moses didn't say, or Job or whatever in the Old Testament didn't say, hey, call him when I get around to it. Or he didn't say, not I am. He said I am. He didn't say, what other one he said, I was listening to a few days ago. He didn't say, I'll try. What was the other one I thought? Call me, I'll try. No, I'll try is limitation. I am great. I am focused. I am energetic. I am powerful. I am a prospector. I have success. Just ask yourself again, come back to my first statements. What are you saying internally? What are you saying externally? There is great power in speaking. And anything you might want to put next to this, I didn't write this, but the key to living a great life is to live in the present moment. So what is the present moment? I am. I do. This is me. This is who I am. Versus, well, I can't, I won't, I'll never, I hate, I don't, it's just not me. I just want you to think about this. Any area of your life, just remember this statement. Any area of your life that you're not excelling in, that you're not becoming who you are capable of with your health, with the relationships, and this business that we're in to earn money. If you are not being who you ultimately need to be, I can promise you there is a limitation in your language. There is something inside that you are speaking, saying, believing, emotionalizing that is preventing you from becoming your very best. And yet, in any of those same areas, health, relationship, and money / business, that when we speak in the present moment, we break through the barriers of the past, the fear of the future, because we live in the present moment. Every one of you today are capable of setting appointments. Every one of you are capable of living the life that you're destined to live. Get conscious, get aware, pay attention to what you say internally and what you're saying externally, because it matters. Speak with power, confidence. Speak in the present moment of I am, I do, I will, I am this, I am that. I will have this, I do this. This is who I am. I am successful. I prospect, not, oh, I'll prospect when I get around to it. I'll prospect when it's more convenient. I'll prospect when I want to. That's not power. That's, again, everything that limits you. And every area of your life where you are not, and this goes for me too, I'm not immune to this, right? There's unconscious of it, like, hey, what am I saying in certain areas of my life? Then I watch other agents where they're not excelling. Any area in your life that you are not excelling in, I promise you, you have limitations. And they start with your language. Just remember that. You have sold yourself on why it is okay to live below what you're capable of doing. Economically, the relationships, and of course, our health. And when you start recognizing that the one person who has power to change it by your language, by your beliefs, by your thoughts, the way you feel, the things you do, becomes the results of your life. Like Everest is built on the idea and the belief that you can become your very best. That is what this organization is about. So you can go chase money, you can go chase dollars, you can do all these things I watch agents do, but they never figure out the one thing that matters, who they choose to become. And if you can get really aware of who you choose to become and become conscious of that and aware of that, I can assure you that will be some of the greatest moments of your life. And here's what's funny. I say funny because it will happen. Some of the most difficult moments of your life, but some of the most rewarding moments of your life, because you start to figure out who you are, what you're capable of, what your purpose is, and what your life can really be, because you choose to do it, not because it happens because of the market, not because it happens by accident, because it will require of you the very, very best of you. Don't underestimate that. There's great power in this, guys. So pay attention, get clear, know what you believe, keep thinking about it, write in your journals, have conversations, pay attention to what you say internally and externally, and go live the life that you're supposed to live. That's what this is all about. You could always go make money, but what's more fun is who you get to become while you earn that money. That's the ultimate reward. So I'll close with this statement, right? It's the beautiful statement of Jim Rohn when he was asked by his mentor, hey, why don't you go earn $1 million? Jim Rohn responds with, well, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Hey, what's important about $1 million? Oh, it's not $1 million that matters, Jim. You know what matters is who you have to become to earn $1 million. That's what matters. And that's why I said yesterday to you, aren't you just curious? Aren't you curious to just know like what you could do, who you could become, what you could accomplish? Isn't there just a level of curiosity of what's possible? Like, what if you gave your very best with your mindset, your skill sets, and your personal discipline plus actions? What could you become? Wow. For me, that means everything. I lost sight a long time ago how interested I was in how much money I earned. Not because that money isn't important, not because I don't like to pay bills, not because I don't want to make a difference economically, but because I realized that the byproduct of my money is in direct relationship to who I become as an individual, as a leader, as a person, as a father, as a husband, as a son, as a business leader. That's what I'm interested in. And what I have found is that the more I become, the more I earn. And once you start to figure that out within yourself, you start paying attention. Hold on a second here. What am I saying? Hold on a second here. What am I saying outside of myself and inside of myself? And I'm telling you, it is an indication of your beliefs. And if you pay attention, you'll start to realize that maybe what you're saying isn't supporting what your goals are. What you're saying isn't supporting who you're ultimately destined to become. So wake up, pay attention, have an extraordinary day, and remember 2 things, actually. Know I love you, and I love the fact that we're together. And even though I can sometimes be so fierce, talking to Jason and Russ yesterday, and I said, sometimes people are afraid to talk to me. I'm not as scary as you think, I promise. And number 2, just remember, there's nothing you can't learn, man. This is just a journey. This life we live in is a school. So learn and grow. And just remember, what any one of you do in relationship to someone else in this room or company or business we're in is irrelevant. It's what did you do in relationship to what you could have done. Nothing else will matter. What did you do in relationship to what you could have done? My opinion for life, and even after this life, is that is all that will matter. I hope that when I'm at the pearly gates, I'm not going, well, Ruby was better than me, which I already know she is, right? And well, I guess I'm not getting in today. I hope that's not how the end is ending. I think it's about who you become. And the greatest judgment ultimately will be you. Because in the end, you will know. You will know, like I said yesterday, if you left everything out on the court, out on the field, if you really gave your best and recognizing that maybe there was so much more to give, maybe more risks to take, maybe moments of vulnerability and openness to show as to what's capable and what's possible for each of us. Okay. All right. Have an extraordinary day. Here we go. Ready to rock and roll? Any thoughts or comments? Sorry, kind of hogged all that time. Fired up for 11 a.m. I'm just getting warmed up. It's going to be a great week. Year. Is it not? Yes or yes? All right, just checking. It is a great life. Checks and balances. Check in with yourself. Check in what you're saying, and what you're saying has a lot to do with what you're doing. All right.